There we go. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the final May edition. So we've got May 30th, 2023. Nice to see you all again. How's it going today, Michael?
Going good out here in the Grand Canyon State. We actually reached 100 again. It actually had been a while since we reached 100 here this weekend, which is pretty wild because it's almost June. And typically it's already that hot. We had something special planned today to kick off our new part of our series of MCR, writing with the evolution of things. But we had some technical difficulties. So we'll have Emily on next time. So we'll continue doing our typical workflow things, go through and show you some cool stuff in Revu and answer any questions. There was one question earlier that maybe we'll just test live to see if we can have it. Somebody read one of my white papers on using ACC and the desktop connector to get access to PDFs. So maybe we'll answer that. Maybe we'll bring up some of the old stuff. And then in terms of like survey questions, I can bring them up and then we'll kind of kick it forward. But let's let you explain where we're going. There will be a larger announcement after this, but today was kind of the first full time we were going to talk about it, right?
Yeah. So we've been talking about the evolution of MCR, Morning Coffee Review, for a while now, and trying to figure out what we can do to do more interesting things, right? We've been doing the tips and tricks and answering questions, and that's not going away at all. But there's so many interesting people in this community that we would like to highlight. I had a conversation with a good friend a couple of days ago, and he's like, I really kind of want to do something different with my career. I don't know what I want to do. And they're looking at LinkedIn and they're looking at YouTube and they're trying to get inspiration for different things. And I was thinking, we work with a lot of cool people, and we've got a lot of cool people here that join us every week on MCR. Let's start highlighting them and telling their story to see if there's, an opportunity to either give a little inspiration or insight or some other spark of creativity. So with that, we're going to start doing what we're going to be calling Espresso Yourself, right? So every other week, we're going to have a special guest on. We're still going to answer questions. We're still going to do our Bluebeam review support live stuff, but we're also going to be interviewing people and having a conversation at the same time. So we did this a couple of weeks ago with Dustin. Today, we were supposed to have Emily, but Zoom is doing its thing. So
yeah, it's because we have like an update that we're supposed to have internally, but we don't use Zoom as a platform except for these. So some folks are outdated and we didn't think too far ahead with what other folks would need. Because some folks from here internally join and so next time we'll iron this out. But as always, we do things off the cuff. So we're always ready to rock and roll and go back into our traditional format. What we're trying to do is just open this up, add more further depth and talk to everybody. We want to hear everyone's story. And what they are doing and where they're going and how they got where they're at, So adding more of a conversation around this so you can all listen to it on Spotify and then also come in here and still get your knowledge drops. That doesn't mean at any point you can't ask us any questions. We're still doing our traditional MCR every other Tuesday. So having a topic that Jason gets to put out for everybody. He is taking the lead on this and everyone should, clap your hands. If you want something special, email Jason. He'll create a topic for you all as we go through.
Yeah, put it on our LinkedIn Morning Coffee group. That's the best place. Like if you've got just a random idea, like, hey, we should talk about this and this and this. Cool. I'll add it to the list. Otherwise, you're at the mercy of my poor memory and I might do the same thing 2 weeks in a row. So, otherwise, we're looking forward to doing that. So today, we're going to fly a little loose because we don't have a structured topic. So we're going to do our backup plan. And I really like where you were going there, Michael, with our Autodesk Construction Cloud.
Yeah.
Right. So ACC. This is a lot of it comes up a lot, right? Because it's getting confusing with the platforms. It's getting really confusing with the cloud and what we're doing here and what we're doing there and how do we tie them all together. And that's why we have conversations about Bluebeam Studio Prime and getting things linked up there. However, that doesn't work with Bluebeam anymore. So how do we get Autodesk Construction Cloud to work with Bluebeam?
Yeah, and the question was specifically around sets because the person likes sets. I'm not going to use names because it was an email. Seems kind of personal, so we'll just talk through that workflow and try and see if it works in there. Sorry, this is going to bug me with this plastic wrap on this tank behind me as I'm looking at myself talk. Anyways, if you join early, you can figure out why my background's changing now and other things. But continue onward. Looks like a computer. No, it's an aquarium. Doug's going to be having a presentation soon too. So let's keep note on that. It looks like be sure to stop by you chapter 2 next Tuesday. Again, this is always about you, the community. MCR is built around you all. So if you have anything you need to, or feel like you want to promote, of course you want to promote Doug and anyone else, of course. But next Tuesday, you chapter 2, they're having at 1 CDT. Is that Central
Daylight Time. Yeah.
Okay. I'll be doing his XCOM presentation. Perfect. Let's see.
And next Tuesday is also first Tuesday of the month. So that'll be the civil chat for Brian Haley's thing too. So lots of learning opportunities coming up here.
Water cooled with fish in it. I don't think they would like the heat.
Some might. I don't know.
Yeah. I know the shrimp are very. So I went to, never mind. Okay, I don't want to go on a tangent because I've been doing so much research. It's kind of wild. Okay, and then DJ CJ posted the if anyone wants to join for Tell Your Story or Express Yourself. I like to say it like that, like it's, part of a rhyme or something. Express yourself. So if you want to come on and express yourself, then you can come on in and email Carrie, C Brady. Ooh, she put out the email, or in the comments in the review after. But okay, so let's hop on in. What is the traditional workflow of getting into Autodesk Construction Cloud? So you do need the desktop connector in order to get into Construction Cloud from Revu now, because the good old AD. And by the way, we have 2 special guests from Bluebeam that will be joining us too at some point here. We don't know the dates. I have to get in contact, but I'll just drop that out as like a
there's good stuff.
Breadcrumb to talk about things on the Bluebeam track that are going to be in Express Yourself. I'm gonna keep doing it that way. So again, at any point, if you want to join on, feel free to email DJ CJ. It's free form, us just having a conversation. If you want to ask us questions live, by all means, you can too. So let's go through. The only way to get into ACC, because Autodesk retired the connector through what Prime used to leverage. So in let's cover Prime too from a hierarchy of there. Studio Prime is an additional subscription price that allows you to plug directly into your third-party applications for studio access. So that is studio projects and sessions. It allows you to use things like Ignite or Procore and leverage studio sessions by the plugin through Studio Prime. It basically it allows you to open the API for studio projects in Prime to third-party applications, simply put. Right. And it used to work for BIM 360, and then ACC happened, and they archived, I use air quotes, the connection for it, so you can't generate a studio session now from docs. However, you can still go through and open a PDF through the desktop connector. So if I go to this PC, Autodesk Docs here, I go to ATG USA. Oh, by the way, I learned the hard way. So the newest AC, and I think this was just an ask from people that use the Construction Cloud a lot. Hey, I only want to see the projects that I am working on post up here. So now with Autodesk Docs, by the way, little quick tip for you all. There we go. select, you have to come in here, right click on docs now. See, I think when people request things like this, the ramifications aren't really thought through, like single sign-on. Everyone's like, we want single sign-on for review. And then other things happen with that, right? So like archiving the older versions of review. So anyways, come back here to select my projects. So if I go to select my projects here, I have to go through and select what projects I want to show up in my browser, which makes complete sense, right? I would have wanted this too if I was working it all the time. I only want to see specific projects that I want to get access to in my browser. Makes complete sense. Why is it so complicated over here in the bottom right for me to go through and select my projects? Can I right click here too?
Negative.
Cool. See? So then anyways, when I come into here, now I see the projects that I want to work on. I can go through and look at my PDFs from here. So as you've selected these, again, this is because I'm on the desktop connector 16, I think. Yeah, 16 is when they made this because 15 didn't have this. I was working on an ACC training, and then I had to upgrade my desktop connector because I was also working on a project. The training really didn't require this, but also knowing to make sure everyone's on the latest and greatest and training behind it. But anyways, so coming into here, I can open up this PDF. Now, the question wasn't this workflow because I've documented this in a blog on our
ATG page.
Yeah, ATG page, but it's like content page. I forget what it's named.
Resources.
Thank you. So if I go over to here and I go to my tools, I can mark up this, right? And then I can right click and save it. And in ACC or BIM 360, we'll close out of that. It'll just create a new version. Well, we'll go to BIM 360. The new platform is called Autodesk Construction Cloud Unified Platform. So it's the unified platform. Has multiple names. Yeah, there's probably a new name coming out next month. I would agree. Don't hold me to that though. But yeah, so if I go into here, I can go into my projects. I should probably search because you're all going to be like, Michael, why are you scrolling through? I think it was, what was the project name?
I don't know.
I know I'm looking on the side. ME Studio Integration. Okay. Docs. So this is the old platform through BIM 360. There's the new unified platform. It's just a new UI. There's a couple new things to it too. But if I go to my Struct Docs here, I hit save on that PDF. I think I stored it in here. Yeah. So I hit save on my PDF and it's going to create a new version of those. I think they're in here. Yeah. Let me go make sure I grab the right one. So file open. Project files, struck. Yeah, this one. So open them, go back into here. And it is
the bottom one.
Yep. So this is version 5. If I go through and make a markup, it'll be the new rev. So if you like the power of review, let me switch my profiles here, review advanced. So I can get my toolbars at the top. As I go through, make a markup, right click, hit save. It's going to create a new version up here in the cloud. It takes a second to ping back, but.
And notice the lock. So it even put the file lock on there.
Oh, that's new.
So that keeps it read only, just like you were checking it out, right?
That's cool.
Sync into V6. So now what I'm curious about, go back to review, do a markup that isn't usually available inside of Construction Cloud or Docs.
In ACC, it's whatever. I forget if you can restore older. Let me close out.
Yeah, you can. Right click on the right side.
I know, but let me close out of the project in here because it's locked.
Yeah, it's still syncing. Syncing.
Once it's done syncing, we'll go through. But yeah, so you have your PDFs in here. The question was though, like a BTX file. Can you generate a BTX file from here? So let's go through and
Ooh, that's a good question.
we just create a new. Let me do, yeah, we'll just add it in here. That's fine. So what I'll do is I'll try and just drop some files in here. You want to talk while I
You're gonna, what kind of files are you gonna add?
I'm just gonna add files that don't live together, like our traditional one. For it. Man, I forgot how to create a folder.
You gotta go. I usually right click there.
There it is.
Add a subfolder. Ouch. Oh, doing some tests here. BTX files. So what do you guys, those in the chat, are anybody using Autodesk Construction Cloud for your projects? Got some yeps, got some oh yeahs, got some all the times, got some nopes, but not the connector.
Explain what is ACC.
Autodesk Construction Cloud, aka Amazon Web Service, is just a it's Autodesk platform for file sharing and collaboration and a whole bunch of things. So if you've got the AEC collection, you already have access to document management. So most of you who have Revit or Civil 3D, most likely you have the AEC collection, which means you have access to docs, which gives you file storage the same way that Revu Studio does, right? And it can do a lot of different files. It can do file locking. It can do a lot of cool things. What it can't do is allow you to work on the project in a collaborative way. So you can't open up a Revit file. You can't have multiple people working on the Revit file unless you upgrade. Yes, I know. Insert coins here. Autodesk will take your money and allow you to do cool things going up to the next level, which is the BIM Collaborate Pro. But we're seeing that get adopted really, really heavily because if you're using Civil 3D, you need that in order to enable data shortcuts. And you need that for getting XREFs to work right. Yeah. So you can only get limited functionality in Civil 3D without BIM Collaborate Pro if you're working in a collaborative or home environment. Now, the cost of doing, cloud-based computing and there's so many different costs involved. It's really not that expensive.
Yeah, but in like hindsight, if you're working remotely on because we have VPN now too, so it is. I feel your heartache on slow again, but if we're working on a project, we're using BIM 360 or ACC, but the amount of efficiency you gain from working in ACC in hindsight will pay dividends versus working through a VPN.
Yeah.
So,
and a lot of it comes from folks like, oh, I can't connect to the server. I'm just going to download it, take it home for the weekend or take it home at night. I'm going to work on it and then I'm going to email it back. And then you get, well, I worked on it too. And now we've got duplication issues. Who has the most up-to-date file? It solves all of those issues. And even if that happens once per project, it's just not worth it, right? So
yeah,
you
Alex,
can get by. Yeah.
Alex, this cost of doing business, unfortunately it is.
Yeah,
I would agree. It's just part of, makes your life easier. There's also data recovery. I think this was in we were actually testing this the other day. I think it was only to 2021. Matt, are you here? If Matt's here, he remembers. I forget which year of Revit, but in Revit, you can now, it caches every single sync per person. 2022. Thanks, Beth. There's Matt. There's Beth. Right at the same time. So all the way back to 2022, it caches every single sync. So every time you sync, you have a log of that and you can revert back to it. So the data recovery is all there as well, moving from 2022 forward only though. So if you're not up to date, by the way, I just looked through all of my Ascent manuals and like, because my shelf was about to fall down in my closet because I was organizing everything for all this fish stuff and, shrimp stuff. But yeah, I got a whole bag of older ones. So just be aware, upgrading, getting in the latest version. But if you do use this, you do have that data recovery. Okay. So, well, let's keep forward with the chat because we're just, free going as we are. So, 2022.
Yeah. So there's a question about, how does your Sybil team's currently using SharePoint, but how does SharePoint work with Sybil 3D? It does in some instances, right? It's still not perfect. There is no perfect solution, and that's what Autodesk is trying to create with this BIM Collaborate Pro. That once you have BIM Collaborate Pro, you are able to do the data shortcuts and extras are going to work, and all that stuff's going to be easier. And it's giving you the file version or the version history, and lots of things that you don't get out of SharePoint. But it's just Autodesk. Like it was said, it's a cost of doing business. If you keep everything in one central platform, life's going to be easier, right? If you're an iOS user and you get a MacBook, you get an Apple Watch, it's all about the ecosystems, right? And it sucks because it costs us money. But that's
I've
the
been
cost of
getting
doing
this
business.
ever since I downloaded Inkscape. Has anyone ever had this issue?
Wow.
Yeah. Ever since I downloaded Inkscape, it's like every time you open up Revit, it needs to pass through my firewall.
I don't use Inkscape.
Harry, if you are
Twin
listening to
Motion.
this, please. Sorry, Twin Motion is what happened. That's what I downloaded.
Oh, I've got
I
Twin
downloaded.
Motion.
Yeah, I downloaded ever since I downloaded Twin Motion because I bet Matt on how long it would take me to learn it. It makes me go through my firewall. But okay, so let's go to Autodesk Docs. From here, yeah, we'll just go through this training one. So I think I put a project in here. Maybe I didn't. We'll just go to Sandbox. Okay, so every time you sync within the project, you actually have the version history. And from here, you can see where they synced from, and you can open and restore to that version. So this is that data recovery with the desktop connector. So let me scroll back up. Yep, Joshua said that, his company working with remote employees is the most efficient process. I would agree.
Yep. And that's Josh hit the nail on the head right there. Why does ACC make working on the cloud better? Because you can easier monitor the changes in their models and tell exactly what they worked on that day as far as managing user productivity and management and all that stuff. Right?
Yeah,
we
you
hate
can
to say it, but
yeah.
It's a thing, right?
It's a great
People
thing.
work remotely and they're not working remotely.
You can even do a light clash detection in here. So I don't know. It just comes down to, man, see, I'm so used to the new one. They put the compare up here in ACC versus here. I highly recommend going through training to know the differences because there are places and things in different areas. But here's an example, right? Like I just did this in ACC. Let's say I'm an admin, right? I would only need an AEC collection license. I wouldn't need Pro to go through and run this compare. So again, just being aware of like the different license types. You don't need it unless you're collaborating within a Revit model. Like if you're not in the model, then you could just have this portion in to go through and look at the docs. So again, just being aware of the different license types. But I can go through and see what was added in 2,902 or modified, right?
Goodness.
So again, I just did this. If for me being on the structural team, coordinating, let's say with Matt's team, the architectural team, if I wanted to know what updates happen, I would probably still use, the copy monitor for like grids and levels, and that's it. But everything else I would use probably for coordination in here, just to have an itemized list of what I need to reflect of changes, right? So again, just being aware of that, this can be done. There's also clash detection built in too. So just being aware. Okay.
Yes, a lot of the functionality of the Construction Cloud comes with the AEC collection.
Yeah,
So,
because you get docs. You just can't, you can save a cloud model in docs. You just can't work collaboratively in the cloud with work sets. So central model work sharing, for those of us that are looking for the other terms, within ACC or BIM 360, unless you have a pro license.
Yep. And this will open up like, I think it's like 85 different versions of software. So what this will do will allow you to, like, I use it for MicroStation, right? We get DGN files. I don't have MicroStation. I can open them up. I can see the layers. I can see levels. I can see all those things too.
Is this their answer project wise? I don't know what project wise is. I think Jason's little kiddo is, the cat was meowing. But anyways, project wise, I don't know what project wise is. Hopefully you can add into that. Let's see, Joshua, you can also easier monitor changes. Yep, that's what I just covered. I guess it's not built. I mean, they have clash detection here, so you can even do that portion. So I don't know, like it wasn't meant for this. I think they're going in that direction, Alex. Working in the cloud is much better than the VPN. I would agree. VPN is super slow compared, because so for those folks, why is VPN slower than this? What ACC does is it'll actually cache a copy local to you. So being aware of where you're storing your documents. So let's say if I was working through the VPN, I'm not actually caching the data local on my computer. I'm just grabbing the model and working on it. And I guess just creating the local cache of what you're doing, but it's not actually caching the whole file near you to save the metadata more efficiently. It's still passing it through the VPN, so your local area network. Every time you hit save, it's pushing that to the server. That's why it's slow. Correct me if I'm wrong, anybody. Where ACC is more efficient is it's actually caching that project local on your drive. So do be aware of that, right? So if you are using ACC and you are caching those projects local, another thing about ACC for those folks that maybe didn't know is you can actually store your point clouds in ACC as well. So if you're working off of a scan to BIM project, you can store your point clouds directly in ACC as well.
Oh, it gets way cooler than that though.
Okay.
So for the civil folks, if you've got a point cloud that has linear things like curbs, it can extract all those and give you feature lines to take to Civil 3D, all on the freaking website. It's so cool. I'll get a data set and we'll look at this another thing, but there's some cool stuff coming. So
that's cool, because I always thought it's more built around Centric or Revit, and now they're adopting it into all their platforms, which is huge.
Yeah.
Because you can work off of a DWG in here as well, by the way, not simultaneously, but you can save it and work it in the cloud. So like it's essentially your storage area. So where was I going? Point clouds. Okay. Oh, VPN. So yeah. So what ACC is allowing you to do is cache that file local, and then you can store point clouds too. Just be aware you have to have enough storage for the projects. I only have a terabyte on this computer, and I've never had an over issue. However, we do have a production team that works off of multiple projects. You can strategize of like taking this off, going on in the next project, or just get more storage. I mean, I don't have that issue. Some folks do, so just get more storage on your computer. Let's see, what else do we got?
So
someone asked about ProjectWise. You know what ProjectWise is?
It's Bentley's version of ACC. I haven't used it in a long time, so I don't know how it has evolved, and I think that would be unfair to give my opinion of it, because I've seen how much ACC has evolved and it's pretty impressive. So I'm guessing that, Ford and Chevy, they gotta keep up. But who knows? I've been really impressed with this, and seeing you able to bring in the review PDFs into here really changes things, because there are some PDF markup functionality built in to docs that you can do right now, but it can't do everything well, right? It's okay for some things.
Yeah.
The bottom one.
I'm saying, yeah, because I don't like it. I mean,
No.
it's still, to me, it's still the same thing as using PlanGrid. So if you folks like PlanGrid, then go back to PlanGrid. It's just not as robust.
There's a reason Autodesk bought PlanGrid, and this is part of it.
Yeah. However, the issues is pretty cool. Issue tracking for things as you're going through and working with coordinating parties, that's awesome. So if you want to place an issue and then address it to somebody, you can actually place it in the model too. There's a lot to it. I guess we are here to do this because that's what we do. But yeah, just being aware of those. So let's see what else we got.
Okay. Are there any other platforms that facilitate collaboration Revit use with third-party consultants to use other than BIM Collaborate Pro? We tried Lucid Link and that failed for us. I'm just going to say it. You can't leave the platform, right? They're trying to get you to the ecosystem. What do you expect? You can't take your Chevy to the Hyundai dealer. They're not going to know what to do with it, right?
It's like Apple.
Yeah.
They cornered the market. So
Apple created this monster, and everybody's like, hey, I want that monster too. And I think that's what's happening, unfortunately. But we are talking about, Revit is the kind of gold standard for that workflow, right? There are other alternatives, but they're not, everybody's trying to save a couple dollars and they're losing out on functionality. And I get it.
Yeah.
But
we have to cut costs somewhere, but just being aware of cutting costs. So what people, and this is funny because I was going to do an instant gratification post about how long it took me to be more patient. But anyways, that we see the number up front and we're like, cool, we're saving that amount, but we don't think about the ROI of how long it takes people to use a different program that doesn't integrate and all the workarounds we have to associate for it, right? So there's thing, let me refer back to you, Alex. Yeah, it's not meant to monitor individual people of like, hey, what are you doing today? Like Big Brother. But I think it is, and what's great about it is like, let's say if I wanted to see what the ARC team was doing in terms of what did they update, perfect for that. Or clash detection. There's some good workflows for clash detection. You want to separate them out by levels, but just again, workflow things. If you ever have any questions, we're always here to help. Let's see. Yep.
So changes tracking. Yeah, visually compare versions of models, which is pretty cool. We do that in Revu as well. See, I'm trying to keep us back on the Revu theme a little bit,
Yeah, let's get back.
We've got document compare. But when we're talking about a model, we can actually compare versions here too. And you can do that. Do it right here with your Syracuse Suites V6.
The PDF.
You can compare versions when you're going through the version history. So you can compare with an older version. See there. So if you want to go back to V1, what's different? And it allows you to toggle them on and off. Same way Revu kind of does.
It's kind of lame.
Yeah,
I like the overlay, copy paste.
Mm-hmm.
So again, why Revu is powerful and some other features, just being aware that I don't think it's touched anything near what Revu has for what its capabilities are for revision, markup,
right,
all that stuff. But anyways, I digress. Jason, I don't like to compare things. We just like to show the differences as who we are.
Well, it's more so of like, these are things that more people are encountering,
Yeah.
Right. There's so many people who come to us and like, hey, I need to get Bluebeam. I'm working with this person and they said that we got to have Bluebeam. What is it? Right. So just the same way, you're probably going to hear ACC or BIM Collaborate Pro or BCP. You're going to start to hear more of these if you haven't already. So we're just trying to make you aware, because it's coming. It's pretty good. Granted, we are biased. There's the disclaimer, but even us, we don't hold back. If there's something crappy about something, we'll tell you. But it's working pretty slick is what I gotta say. So why is
I created
that?
this before, so let me
Oh.
try doing it in the cloud now. Oh, it still opened it. So I don't
Really?
know.
Go to your right click and open document folder.
This?
See if it pulls to a cache of something. Your Explorer should have popped up.
Nope. It's in the
ACC
cloud.
docs. Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting.
And it's locking whichever ones I'm clicking on. Look at that.
Oh,
You see that?
yeah.
Look at it.
Interesting. Okay.
Whoa. So even though it told me, I don't know what it told me because I just, me, I may have just clicked things.
Going
Close
fast.
that. Okay, let's go and try it again.
So you're opening up a BEX file that exists on the Autodesk Construction Cloud.
Yeah, I pre-created this BTX file for my demos. These are all the files that are absorbed by this BTX file. And then I just drag dropped into ACC. Okay. Open. Okay.
So there we go. Could not find. Okay.
Oh, it can't find this one PDF.
The site plan.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, that's fine. So that's just the one, the site.
Yeah. So you're missing a file from the set.
Yeah.
It's not an error because of the construction cloud. It's just that when you go back there,
the
site plan's right there. That's
it's
the file
there though.
Maybe it's named slightly different.
Shouldn't be. Anyways, but that's cool. So you can use sets in the cloud. Let's go and just make a change on one then and see.
Let's see if it updates.
Should I do? Yeah, I'll just go in here. It is. Wow.
Look at that. All right.
So I'll email. I don't think this person's in here. Let's see.
And your cover sheet's updating too. Look at that. Huh.
No, I'll
that
email
is wild.
This person back. But so that was just an email question to me. So if you ever have anything you are okay with me sharing on here, I'd be more than happy to show you live. Or you can use the survey at the end to ask your questions.
Can you set up the DMS toolbar to open the files from ACC?
Who gets the credit?
What's the DMS toolbar?
Where's that question at?
From Doug, right above Alex.
Did you move a file, rename a folder?
No, skip that one.
Oh, the DMS toolbar. So I don't know. That's probably something within the.
What's the DMS toolbar? Yeah, and yeah. Interesting. So who gets the credit for this one? Bluebeam or Autodesk is Alex's question. And I want to say it's got to be Autodesk. Oh, document management system.
Oh, can you?
Oh, yeah, you can do this. You've tested this before. When you go to your file access and you change it from the Explorer one, where it can just go to your desktop connector.
What are you talking about? Oh,
your file open. Yeah, your file access.
to get what are we looking though? Document. Like, what are we trying to do?
Like open
Explain
something.
me.
Open something from the construction cloud right here in Revu.
Oh, I mean, I did. I just did file open.
Yeah, but do it with
The browser. Yeah.
Explorer. There you go.
Explorer.
Then right there you can go and set that up to have because you've pinned a folder before that's on construction cloud.
Yeah, I forget what it is. There it is. So it was on my. I think they're on the desktop connection on my C drive. Nope.
No, it's go back to computer. No, or file explorer.
That's what it was, because you still had to do the file explorer the same way. So it was like open this, right? And then I have my desktop connector.
Yeah. There's a way. There's a way. But yeah, I know that Autodesk is
Maybe
they look heavily at Bluebeam, right? Because it is a threat to them. And I think Bluebeam doesn't really feel the same way.
Whoa. I would
What?
say that as an objective.
Objective.
I think
okay.
they think there you go. Like that.
I would imagine so. I mean,
There you go.
think of how business is. If you're in business and you don't know who your competitors are, then you got to sort of do your thing. But I think Bluebeam as a company is a little bit more like, let's just get everybody to get along, fine, whatever. They're a little bit more open. I don't know.
I'm looking for this DMS.
Yeah, I've seen you do it before.
Oh, interface here.
Oh, SharePoint.
Oh, it won't let me out of SharePoint. That's weird.
Lame.
It's only for SharePoint? Question mark.
Could be why I didn't understand the whole DMS thing, because I don't deal with SharePoint.
Yeah, they literally only allowed the integration for SharePoint.
Okay. Well, that settles that.
Oh, and I did get an answer because on one of our videos, someone watched it. I won't say who, because there'll be a special guest at some point, but basically said the reason why Bluebeam University doesn't work on the browser in here because it's meant for light browsing.
Okay.
So the web browser in here, that's why Bluebeam University doesn't work through your web tab, because it's meant for light browsing.
Oh, not interactive stuff.
Yeah.
See, that's kind of Bluebeam. If you're listening,
I would just be aware.
Add university right here. That'd be so handy.
Yeah. And you can ask that question. So.
Yeah, exactly. So speaking of questions, what else you got for us? So we took a turn today. We were supposed to have Emily on, and we were going to have a lively conversation about her origins in the industry and how she got involved with Bluebeam, and spoiler alert, how she got Michael and I involved with Bluebeam. So
yeah, we'll have her on in July. We just have to.
Yeah, we'll get some things settled.
I'll admit my fault. I thought it was going to be smooth. No issue. Of course, getting people into here is sometimes an issue. If you used to have a license of, webinar, Zoom stuff, and then you don't, it's a little bit harder for those folks to get back in because Zoom wants you to sign in and you don't have a license. So
yeah, always do a dry run. Well, that's usually why we start early. We usually start this thing 15 minutes early to figure that out. But in this case, it's an IT thing.
Yeah. But I feel like it's always best for you all to see, the humanity in Jason and me and the things we run into to relate it, it's all relatable.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
So we do our dry runs live.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And that said, June is coming up later this week, right? So, which means we're going to have a whole new set of topics coming out. We're going to have a whole new list of folks joining us. if you've got any suggestions, questions, whatever, put them in the survey at the end of this, put them in the chat, put them on the LinkedIn page. We'll put a LinkedIn chat or a link to LinkedIn in the chat if you haven't joined us over there. Good place to ask questions during the week, outside of MCR hours, and do what we can. But on another note, I have seen more Bluebeam user groups or bugs. It's the season for that. So if you've got one, if you're a part of one, if you want to be a part of one, or you want to start one,
is it because it is bug season?
Could be. But I know there's.
I thought you were playing a joke on that.
No, I should have.
Okay.
I'm just seeing more of them. I know Atlanta's got one coming up here in June. Minneapolis is going to have one. Yeah, I'll be going to the Minneapolis one.
Oh, nice.
I think
if you want to invite Jason or myself,
yeah,
feel free to, if we're close.
San Diego's coming up, so there's a lot of opportunities there. Go to the Bluebeam website, go find the bug list. Bluebeam user.
Where do you find that?
Oh boy, Bluebeam bug, not bugs. Oh, there user groups. So get involved, browse existing. So there's a ton of them. Even in Denmark.
I was like, are you sure? Because I only see a short amount, but it says load more.
Yeah. I don't know what. Yeah. But there's also a link there how to start one. So if you got folks in your area, these are always a good time. We've done a couple of them, and we'll be doing more.
Yeah, if you want us to come and chat, right?
Yeah.
Hang out, have a conversation. But yeah, so just be aware. We'll have a regular cadence of conversation, and that doesn't mean you can't ask questions, because again, we're always here to answer your questions about Bluebeam. So if you want to deviate and pivot off of us, having this espresso cell conversation, by all means, we can. But if you want to also come on and just talk about, some of the challenges or some of the great things that you are doing and leading in the industry, or if you just want to jump on and have a conversation with Jason and me and talk about, my aquarium hobby I'm into now, or my plants, or talk about, yourself. That's what we're going to lead into on the every other half. So you can see the regular cadence in that. Of course, as always, we're here for you all. Let us know your thoughts on this. We have a survey at the end. Feel free to leave some things in there. And also be aware, Doug, if you want to post a link to your
Chapter 2 class.
Yeah, your class that you're teaching in here or in the LinkedIn user group. What else, Jason?
I don't know. I had a train of thought and I lost it, but that's just coming off of a long weekend.
That's fine.
I didn't get relaxed time.
So did anybody know this? Because I found this out the other day. Hold on. I'll show a quick tip.
But it's also a question. Did we know this? Okay. What you doing? The shift thing?
Oh. There was one. Was it that, or was it Control Shift where you highlight your wall? I guess you're not just highlighting the wall. It's holding orthogonal positioning. So
yeah,
if you want to do that, you can use Shift. But you can also do that with the pen, which I found out, and I didn't really realize that. So if you're using a pen
to draw straight lines,
yeah,
underutilized. Yeah, I don't think I use that one. I only use the orthogonal if I'm drawing lines or polylines.
Yeah, so I found that out I watched somebody do that, and I was like, maybe because I didn't think, like, if you're going to use that, you just would use the line, but you can draw that.
Yeah. Bob says show Alt-Z. Didn't know that one until the email this weekend. So Alt-Z. What did that do? Move.
Alt-Z. My hotkey might not be for it. Is that the email? Mine's Control E.
That's the auto size text box.
Oh, Alt Z, yeah. But by the way, yeah. So if you want to auto size your text box, you can have it. So like, right, mine does it automatically, but that's because I have it in preferences, and I usually turn this off when I do training, so people aren't like, "That's so cool." But you can have it auto size text box right here. But if you don't have it checked, Alt Z. So Alt Z, which
See that
is
big
this
old
key.
box.
Yeah.
That big old giant box. So if you've got a frame around it, especially, it makes things kind of odd. So, and if
And
you're new
Liz
to
jumped
review,
in.
that's kind of confusing, right?
Yeah. Liz jumped in with, you can also use your keyboard shortcuts within the right click menu or any of the menus if there's something you use frequently. Yeah.
Exactly.
Oh, multitasking. I think that's,
No.
at least you were listening and tuning in. Look, you tuned in. So sometimes when some folks, I won't look at anybody in here. Is Matt still here? When they multitask, they tune everything out.
Yeah. Hence the, more audio version of MCR.
Yep.
Wow. Look at that.
That's
Or listen to that.
Yeah. So that's kind of where we're going. I listen to Spotify all the time. So I want to get some stuff in there for you all folks and listen to a good conversation. Jason and I love to have conversations around coffee or just anything. So having folks in to tell their story and have a conversation with them, right? So that's really what it's about. We want everyone to be able to express themselves on MCR2.
Yeah, because a lot of y'all are interesting folks.
Yep.
And a lot of interesting people. And I've been thankful for having such a long career. I've met some amazing people who had a start or an origin that you wouldn't really expect, and some of those can be quite inspiring. And I think we're all due for a little bit more inspiration. So that's sort of where this is coming from. So yeah.
Perfect. Well, with that, if you all have any questions, leave them back in the comments area. If you want to join and express yourself, feel free to leave that in the chat or the survey at the end. Yeah.
Yeah. Or
email
scroll up in the
DJ
chat.
CG.
There was a email there. That's where I was going with that. But otherwise, I hope y'all had a wonderful long weekend. I hope you took a minute to realize what the holiday was for. And nobody got too sunburned, burned themselves on the barbecue grill or anything else.
I did grill. We went over to a buddy's house and I did grill. I don't know how I always get voluntold to be the grill manager, but I was.
Oh, I will always volunteer for that. So yeah, I grilled, rode bikes, worked on the car, did some landscaping. I've been busy. I didn't get much downtime, so I'm sore today, but I'll make up for it this coming weekend.
Perfect. Well, with that being said, we'll close it out.
Yep. Thank you all. We'll see you next week.
There you go, David. Nice. Road bike. Great. So just checking the comments before we leave. Again, thank you all. We wouldn't be here if it wasn't for every single one of you joining MCR every single week. So if you do want to join us, there is DJ CJ's email and also survey at the end. But until then, we'll see you all next time. What else? Follow up,
That's
Jason,
it.
to finish it. Cool.
That's it. We'll see you guys.
Have a good one.